My name is Will. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I work in the construction industry as an assistant project manager, and I'm seeking my MBA to learn about business and accelerate my career. My first GMAT mock was a 650, and then took the GMAT and got a 550 on test day. I attribute the poor test day performance to a lack of any strategy on the Quant section and having not studied all of the Quant material. From there, I went back to TTP to refresh my skills for a few weeks and took another mock and got a 740. Then I took an official GMAT and scored a 710. I know if I would have followed the instructions and finished the course by doing all the lessons and tests, I would have for sure been able to break the 730 mark. At this point, I'm going to go to applications this round and maybe come back to target test prep if I don't achieve my goals. I purchased and started target test prep before I had done any sort of GMAT prep or review. I honestly didn't know much about the GMAT at all besides that I had to take it for business school. I discovered target test prep by reading Reddit reviews and comments, and I knew by what I had read that I didn't need to consider another program. I used target test prep starting in January, and through February I studied about 20 hours a week on average, working full time. In March, some life circumstances derailed my study plan, and I didn't study again much until April and into May. TTP was the single reason I was able to become as prepared as I was for the GMAT in the time that I had. I was impressed by how thorough the curriculum was, and I could tell that it had enough depth to truly master everything, far more than I needed to pass the 700 threshold. It has the potential to prepare you for a high 700 score if that's what you're aiming for. I personally really appreciated the clean user interface. For something that I was logging into every day and spending hundreds of hours on, it made a big difference and helped to fight against fatigue. The chat function also proved to be super useful when I needed a human explanation or answer for a problem or question that I had. Besides that, as I mentioned earlier, the depth of the content was truly great. If I were going to start over, I would not set an expectation for how long it was going to take me. I would go into GMAT prep knowing that it could be a months long or even years long window. I would have started by buying the 6-month TTP course or whatever the longest deal they were running was. I started with a race mentality, and it would have been a lot more sustainable if I would have planned for it to take a long time. When I started prep in January, I scheduled my GMAT for June and planned on finishing the course by then, but I didn't take into account the time it would take me and how life can interrupt the most dedicated plans. I wouldn't recommend scheduling the GMAT when you start the course, but rather schedule it at the end when you're ready. If I would have run a more paced course and not tried to be overly aggressive with scheduling, I would have had that extra bit of gas in the tank to reach higher than a 710 to get over a 730. I'm grateful for Target Test Prep for giving me a one-stop shop resource to exceed my GMAT score goals on a very aggressive time schedule. I was able to study around 200 hours and land a 710 that I'm happy with. That amount of time didn't allow me to thoroughly finish the course, but if I had, I know I would have gotten higher than a 730. Based on my mock performance. Target Test Prep had everything that I would have needed to shoot for as high of a score as I would have wanted. It doesn't just have coursework for quant, verbal, IR, and writing, but it also has test-taking strategy and the support of the whole TTP team through the chat function. If I was starting over, I would have spent more time and bought a longer subscription. I would have taken my time, and I would have really crushed my score goals on the GMAT. I will definitely recommend it to anyone who would listen or take my advice, including my friends who are now starting their business school journey. Yeah, I'm thankful for Target Test Prep. I wish it would have been around when I took the SAT in high school, and I would do it again.